Hello, everybody, and welcome to the strategic closing system training. Please keep yourselves muted as I prepare the slides and make sure that, yes, I can hear myself loud and clear. Let me check quickly that I can indeed see myself live on Facebook. If you're watching this over inside our stream on Facebook, say hello. See myself live on Facebook. Awesome. So I can hear myself loud and clear. Give me a hashtag live if you're watching this live. If you are watching the replay sometime in the future, give me a hashtag replay as well. I see more and more people are coming into the Zoom link. Okay, so some of you will be watching this on Facebook. Some of you will be on my Zoom. Some of you will be watching the replay of this sometime in the future. So let's get started. I see David is live. Not sure if I can see your comments on Facebook. I see Prasad is live. Carla is live on Facebook and on Zoom as well. So I hope everybody is doing great, and I appreciate you taking your Friday morning or Friday evening out to train with me. I hope this will be worth your time. Let's give one last 30 seconds for people to stream in. I see Trina is live. Welcome, Trina. So if Jabal is live as well. If this is the first time you're seeing my work, let me know which closer program do you come from? What do you close for? Do you close full-time? Do you close part-time? This is a community safe for you and I, all of us closers. So make friends, introduce yourself, and let's get started. Okay, so when you guys saw the strategic closing concept, okay, you must be going like question mark in your minds, right? How many of you felt that way? Like, what is this guy, Sean, gonna be teaching again this week? This week's about strategy. What does that mean? And let's talk about that for a few seconds. What does the word strategy mean to you? So can David or the rest of you give me some feedback on the audio? Can you hear me loud and clear? Or the rest of you give me some feedback on the audio. Okay, awesome. So what does the word strategy mean to you? Is it important to you? Do you think about it? Or maybe you do think about it, but you use a different term. If you can see, I have been renaming my brand and my work, and I'm moving more and more towards this theme, right? This has always been my theme, strategy. Because does it make sense to work hard for the next 6 months? I mean, at this point in time, it is June. We are halfway through the year. So do you guys think that it is a good time to take a day off, half a day off, 6 hours off, and what I call thinking time to sit down and say, hey, 6 months have passed. If the things that I want to work are working, that's a sign that things are working. If some of the things are not working, it could be an external thing, right? Maybe it's the skills and the techniques that I have, the external stuff. It could be an internal thing, such as maybe a belief. I'm used to working too hard, or I am too rigid when I keep doing things in a certain way over and over again. Or it could even be something like, you know what, a blind spot, right? But if the last 6 months, there are things that you're not too happy with and you want to change, maybe now is the time to really, or after this training, to take some time and really rethink what your strategy is, because there are two ways this can go, right? The next 6 months could be a repeat of the last 6 months. And a lot of times I find that I have to be humble enough to maybe put my pride aside and look at, hey, do I want something that looks good on the outside, or do I want a strategy that can actually bring me the results and the quality of life that is what I really want. Okay, so you got to think your external strategy and your internal strategy. Okay, so if none of you have put your definition, your personal definition of what a strategy means to you in the chat, let me share mine. Okay, it's a series of planned action steps to achieve, okay, a specific set of milestones and outcomes. So there's a main outcome that I want to achieve. In 2018, it's my first 10K. In 2019, is to get to 6 figures. In 2020, is to build and lead a sales team. And in 2021, is to launch my own company. So every year, I had this overall strategy, overall outcome that I want to build. And each month or each quarter was actually focused on achieving a specific milestone. And sometimes I would hit it. Sometimes I would miss it. Sometimes I would take a long time just to hit one milestone that sometimes I can't figure out what the milestone is. Sometimes I don't have the proper guidance. But at the back of my mind, I'm always looking at a strategy, because if the map doesn't make sense, then so what? If you and I work harder and harder, or wait and wait, or repeat and repeat for the next 6 months. So is this an important topic? Is strategy a critical or dangerous word that we should look at? I'll leave it to you to decide. So that sets the tone and direction for today's training. And before I get started, I want to share some messages that you guys have been sending my way. First one's from Andrew. Everyone, please give snaps for Andrew, who has secured himself a 7-figure company to set for. And Andrew's story is he has risen and fallen and risen and fallen and risen and fallen, but he never quits. Okay, he's like a cockroach that you cannot kill, but he keeps coming back and he keeps becoming stronger. And the reason why I want to start with this screenshot is because don't have this illusion that it's going to be easy on the internet. If anything, it's going to be more challenging than your previous job, because now you're in charge. Now this is your business. Now this is your brand. Now this is you and the services and the solutions that you bring to the market. So a little bit of the entrepreneur fire is needed. And this is no coincidence. He has done this a lot of times. The last company he joined was an 8-figure company. He joined, he earned his first $3,000 USD. And then he burned out a little bit and he took some time to recover. And did he become stronger? You bet. Did he become more confident? You bet. Did he become more sure of himself? You bet. Just by that 5% or just by that 10%. So I really feel like this is the kind of marketing that we should see. Okay, not some, get rich quick, easy internet money mentality. Please, if you haven't already gotten that out of the way, please throw that mentality out the window, because that will only damage your integrity as a closer. This one's from Kevin. I'm interested in the program you offer. I have purchased several programs in the past, but none have yielded results. They have ranged from dropshipping, affiliate marketing. I'm sure my journey has been like most of your students a lot. Yeah, that's the way it is, because of a wrong, misaligned expectations. So yeah, align your expectations. And then we also have a Mithiel who has already booked a call before I even done my pitch or my offer for the training. Okay, so shout out to Mithiel, Kevin, and Andrew. Great work, well done. And quick shout out to my beautiful wife, Andrea, and Andrew, who's also here, and Jay, to my wonderful and amazing team. And let's get into the core part of the training. What you see here is the dream. It's the ideal. It's what everybody thinks that you want to have when you can travel the world and learn from the people you want to learn and pursue the passions that you want to pursue, because you're financially secure, your career is secure, that you can confidently go into any team and lead salespeople, help businesses scale, and be super secure, super confident in your skills. That's really the end game that your strategy should bring you to. So we are here today to formulate your winning strategy. And whether you end up working with me in the future, whether you purchase any one of my programs, I feel that after this training, the main takeaway that you should have is to really rethink your strategy. And if it's your first time sitting down to plan and sitting down to think, don't feel afraid. Don't feel afraid to aim high and challenge yourself and even write down the things that you don't feel might be possible now, because I guarantee you, the moment you pluck out the courage to write it down and say, you know what, I'm here, but I deserve to be here, and I know why I want to be there. And you put a deadline, okay, and a specific description of what you want, you're already halfway there, because it's the people that put this planning aside, that have their goals to be so sacred that they never want to touch it, they never want to look at it, they never want to examine it. That's why they stay stuck in square one forever. So I hope that you can pluck out that courage from inside, okay, and start planning for yourself. And the main thing that I want to give to you today is really an understanding of the 3 laws, because whatever plan that you create, it cannot deviate from certain laws, right? Can you mess with gravity? If you go to the swimming pool and you learn how to swim, does the pool care, you know, what are all the kind of different things you do, right? There are always, or certain sports that you play, certain games that you play, there are always rules and principles. And in this case, I'm going to call it laws that are unchanging. So after 4 years of surviving in this industry and helping myself, the closest getting from consistent 3K months to 12K months, what I found is these laws are always there. And if you and I can align ourselves with them, mind, value, and performance, the results will show for itself. And some of you have already tasted some success. It's just that you got there and then you fall off and you don't know, how did I manifest those results? How did I manifest those wins? Right? So I hope that after today, you can clearly see what are the laws at work. And if you step onto the same path of where these laws are moving, you'll find that you always, it might still be challenging. You might still have setbacks and things like that, such as life, such as business, such as entrepreneurship. But the main change is now you can see why you succeed. And now you can see why you don't succeed. So your opportunities for change, for adjustments, for control increase, because now you're consciously aware of what to do in any given situation. For example, a closer with no strategy. If I call any one of you and I say, what's the plan this month? What would you say? If I say, what's the plan this quarter? What would you say? If I were to say 6 months from now, what's the plan? Are we still going to do the same things? Are we still going to earn the same amount of money? Are we still going to keep the current paradigm? You see, these are difficult questions that we don't ask ourselves often enough. True or false? True or false, guys? So without a direction, you'll fall back to, let me just do something to feel productive, right? Without a clear direction, we fall back to, let me put it aside for a little while, because it seems like whether I put in the effort or whether I don't, nothing really moves. So at the end of the day, I don't really feel confident. I don't really feel ready. Let's try and fall back. Let's try and fall back. Let's try and fall back. And this kind of paradigm, it actually affects everything. It doesn't just affect planning. It affects the sales call. It affects every single thing you do. And in the opportunities you attract, it touches, this frequency touches everything and anything we do. On the other hand, when I wouldn't say you have the perfect, complete, bulletproof strategy, but when you are able to think from the core principles that I shared with you today, okay, fine, you might not be a 7-star, 6-star closer right away. You might not be the perfect, flawless closer right away. You might not become a superstar closer right away. But at the very least, like I said in the beginning, you feel more secure because you know, if I fail, why I failed. If I hit a roadblock, why is there this roadblock? What are 10 ways I can do to overcome this roadblock? So this kind of confidence, you don't buy it from a course, you know, you don't get it from a guru. You can't depend on anyone to feel this kind of certainty, because this kind of security in your own skills come from you becoming more and more sure of how can I navigate based on the principles and the understanding that I uncovered? A lot of times when I talk to my students and I ask them why. Why did this influencer ask you this question? Or why did this company throw you this test? They cannot answer. And so they fall back to scripts. They fall back to very cheesy techniques. They fall back to rigid structure. They fall back to nothing because they know that actually I'm in trouble because I don't understand. I don't know what to do. Okay, so it's really, really in the thinking. It's really, really in the understanding. If I pause at any point in time and I ask you why, you must be able to explain to me. That's even if you don't succeed now, at least you can explain to me. That way I know that you know what you're doing. Am I making sense, guys? Because the other gurus, they don't want you to understand why. And can I ask you why? You want to tell me why? They don't want you to understand why. They don't want you to know these laws. They don't want you to get to here, here, here. And I don't want to tell you why. You tell me why. You go think for yourself and you decide, do you want to continue to enable them? Or do you want to build a movement and standard with me that says, this should be the way, transparent, open, direct support. Okay. First one, the law of mind. Okay, write this down. Your identity is the most important thing. You know why you click? I didn't really make my Zoom link obvious. I didn't really push today's training. I didn't run ads. I just shared it on my Instagram. By the way, you can follow me at Sean X Sena. I shared it on my Facebook. And then now we have a bunch of how many? 7 on Zoom, another 6 on Zoom, 7 on Facebook, and then more will come and watch the replay. How did you find your way here? How did you click the right button? How did you show up on time? Is it a coincidence? Okay, something in your paradigm, something in your subconscious made sure that at this time, with this intensity, you will show up and you will come here and take notes and you will come here and train. There's just something in your system. If that thing doesn't exist in your system, your subconscious would have manifested an excuse, a coincidence for you not to be here. But all those other guys that wanted to be here, that tried to come here, but they're not here. Okay, now you know why. The identity is not allowing them to be here. When I was creating my offers and my programs, I offered a bunch of people free access to my program. I said, join my coaching. Let me take you guys, let me just drag you guys to the finish line and then give me some testimonials. I just wanted to give everything for free. And I said, all you need to do is to come to my Zoom and then we can train. Okay. I give them the whole thing for free. And somehow, some way, their identity just allow the message to disappear. The Wi-Fi go disconnected. And then it's what I call a frequency split. But it just cannot happen. So before we talk about the how, before we talk about the what, you got to make that decision that I'm here not for easy internet money. I'm not here just to make a quick buck. I'm here to get good at solving problems. My identity is a sales leader. Okay. Then from there, you will build the actions and habits, and then the results just come as an effect. They just drop as an effect. Okay. But most people don't do that. They look at the results and then they conclude that, oh, I suck. They look at the results and they conclude, oh, I'm stuck. Then it goes into their beliefs and then it just damages the whole system. Okay. If you're like, Sean, what do you mean? Can you give me an example? Who can tell me the name of the guy on the left? I'll give you guys a few seconds. Type in the chat. The guy on the left is not me. The guy on the left is my wife, was my wife, Andrea. And you might say, well, she just grew her hair a little bit longer. She just changed her clothes. She just put on some makeup. That's because you didn't know the old her. If you were to see her just from maybe 3 years back, you will see a person that you cannot talk to because she's always burnt out. You will find a person that you cannot work with because she always sabotages things, herself, her finances, her abilities, her capabilities, like everything, because the whole paradigm is just wired that way. Okay, so within 3 years, she moved out of her old home, her old house, her old paradigm. She built her own family. She built her own business. She built her own career from the ground up. Okay, failure after failure, mistake after mistake, breaking down after breaking down. So I would love to talk to you guys about the brand and the strategy and the skills and the techniques, but I have to start with this. Okay, because if you cannot control your identity, all the brand and all the skills, okay, are not going to work. Okay, what is the root of the identity? Okay, it's all formed by the beliefs that you have. Silent, unexamined belief that says you'll never succeed as a closer. You don't deserve to be that successful. You only deserve to earn a certain amount of money. So when you get on calls, you get on interviews, you'll find a way to avoid the interview. You'll find a way to say something to make the influencer reject you. You'll find a way to make the prospect reject you. It's all subconscious. Consciously, you are trying. You're trying, but subconsciously, the paradigm just comes back to manifest blockages, emergencies, okay, even relationship problems. It's everywhere. One frequency hits everything. So at the end of the day, the strategy is supported by your identity. Before I knew what is the strategy, before I knew what is the what and the how, I affirmed myself that I'm here to go all the way. I'm here to do whatever it takes. Okay, so you perceive things differently. You decide differently. Your whole energy is different. Okay, and once you get to the new frequency, okay, you ask yourself whether you're male or female. You want to be on the stuck paradigm on the left, or you want to be self-sufficient on the right. Okay, so before we talk about the what and the how, ask yourself, can I shift my identity? Is it possible that I really believe that I can be a successful, independent, 6-figure remote closer? Okay, that I don't need to depend on anyone else. That's the most important question you ask. Okay, the law of the mind. Everything is mind. Because now on that foundation, then we can talk about value. If you are at a stage where you are the guy on the left and you say, oh, I want to help people. You are stuck on the left. And then you're like, let me add value to you. Your hand is already full of blood, like your whole body is bleeding. And then you say, let me help you. Who will accept that? Who will be comfortable with that? You can mask it up behind a good appearance, but you think your prospects, your influencers, they cannot feel what kind of energy is behind. So the beliefs and the identity have to be in place. Then the value that you bring out contains the right energy and frequency. Okay, so the law of value, write this down. The 3 P's is the value that you possess, and the value that you portray, okay, and the value that you provide. Okay, first you must possess it. You can't give something that you don't have. Okay, and then you got to show it. Now, people don't know how good you are until you let them know. You let them see how good you are. Okay, and once you're in the team, then you actually have to provide and deliver the results. Then they confirm that yes, you are as good as you say you are, and as good as you know that you are. So value that you possess is a very simple thing. Okay? It's conscious and subconscious understanding of the why, of the principles, of the sales psychology. This involves the setting process, getting people on calls. This involves the closing process, okay, closing on the call itself, and then building systems to support the two. Okay, you must be able to explicitly explain to me and demonstrate to your influencer that I understand. Okay, this is the root of value. You have to actually possess it. You can't rely on just words. You can't just rely on praising your influencer. These are all hot air. When they put you on the field, you have to demonstrate. Okay, across all the different kinds of variations, you have to be consistent. So the essence of this is how good you are. Okay, then your next question is, okay, Sean, I know I gotta be good. So how to be good? How do I be good? Okay, the 3S, write this down. I always tell my students, is to study, synthesize, and share. If you want to get to this identity, and I look at your calendar, I'm always telling my students to screenshot their calendar and send it to me. If I don't see at least 30 minutes or 60 minutes a day, where you're consistently blocking time out to study, whether you study my stuff, whether you study your coach's stuff, then how are you going to improve? The bare minimum is at least 30 to 60 minutes of study per day. And then you study, you don't copy. I don't want you to become a parrot. Okay, I want you to digest. It's whether you digest or not. Sometimes when my students ask me repeat questions again and again and again, I know that they didn't really digest it. They're just parroting what I say, or you're just parroting what your coach say. And so you sound like them, you say exactly like them, but you are different from them. It's because you didn't digest it. It's not in your subconscious. Okay, and you got to share. You got to put it out there. You got to put it on your social media. You got to practice. So study, synthesize, share is the only way that you can internalize, can become subconsciously and consciously competent. Everyone following? If you're following so far, give me a follow in the chat. So the next thing is now you actually have this value. You know your stuff because you study 30 minutes a day. Okay, don't tell me, oh, I'm going to study 6 hours a day because you're going to burn out. I would much rather you just study 30 minutes a day and be consistent for the next 6 months. Make it a lifelong habit. Okay. And then now you have this value. How do I know that you have it? You have to show it. When I Google your name and I find your social media, okay, will I see a bunch of unrelated stuff? You're sharing someone else's stuff, or you just put out a generic quote? Or will I see the studying that you have done? And don't feel afraid. You have to start. You have to post. And you don't need to pretend to be an established 7-star closer or 7-star copywriter or things like that. Just document what you learned. Just be truthful. Your influencers can see. And they don't want a 6-star closer. They want someone honest, consistent, that they can coach. Okay? And your content has to have structure. You can't keep sharing generic stuff, other people's stuff, or things that are so emotional to you, but it has no value to your ideal influencer. It has no value to your ideal company that you want to close for. Okay, and this value that you give out is not just on your Facebook, it's in everything you do. I see the way some closers comment, a lot of them message or email or post, it's all generic. No thought was put into it. It's all about me, 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 me. They don't understand how to create value for companies. And you know why they don't understand? It's because they don't study. So before you talk about content, before you talk about brand, did you study? What do you study? Because if you yourself don't feel secure with what you study, then so what? Even if you get an influencer, so what? Even if you join a team, can you stay in the team? Because after you join, it's all performance and KPIs. So what if the influencer today, you comment interested and they say, okay, you join my team. And then the next 7 days, you don't hit the KPIs because you don't study. Then what happens? Then you're back at square one again. So do you really have an influencer problem? Or do you have a value problem? Can you take a lead from cold or neutral to booking a call with you? How many times have you done it? Can you do it consistently? 2, 5, 10 times a day, depending on what the KPI is. You know, this is the reality of what's happening in the sales team. The sales director will just say, everybody screen share your numbers, pull out your numbers. Okay, so and so, your projection for this week was 5 calls booked or 10 calls booked. Did you hit your target? Yes, no, why? First strike, second strike, and then you're out. So do you really have an influencer problem, or is it because you don't feel secure in your skills? So you actually keep sabotaging your own process, and then you say, influencers suck. Is that what's happening? Be brutally honest with yourself, okay? Because Cole Lee from Australia, Hong Kong, started in the same way. So the numbers here, you see that as of this training, she has closed 600,000 worth of sales, and her commissions, her target is 35,000, 45,000. Okay, and she is more than halfway, if not 3/4 there, because she set the target, she set the milestone. And you might say she failed because she didn't hit her milestone, but I disagree. I think she's one hell of a closer. I think she's one of the best closers I know. I think she is the closer. So if you know her personally, then you know what I'm saying. If you don't know her, okay, steps for her consistent achievement. How did she generate this result? It's not because of her influencer. Her influencer is just like B plus, A minus. It's because she has the goods. She shows the goods and she delivers the goods, and she doesn't want to play small. In the beginning, if she sat down and said, let's play small, she would never have arrived here. So we have no strategy for her because she doesn't even know where to go. But that's not her. She said, I'm in Hong Kong now. My goal is to relocate back to Australia, go help my family business, okay, go get my relationships in order, get my finances in order. And what do I need? I need the Kung Fu. I need to be trained. I need to get good. So, is it possible to shift our value? Do the gurus want you to shift your value? Once again, I'll let you answer the question yourself. Number 3 is the law of performance. Okay, this goes back to one thing and one thing only. Okay, write this down. Sales fitness. Okay, sales fitness. Why do closers avoid? Why do closers, because the black bar is my chat window, I'm looking at what you guys chat. Okay, why do closers avoid? Why do closers slow down? Why do closers have fear? Why do closers break down and just drop everything? Why do closers burn out and like, screw this shit? Why do some closers always experience this problem? And then on the other hand, why are some closers be like Captain America and be like, I can do this all day? If I could give it a name, I would call it sales fitness. Okay, and I define sales fitness as the ability of a closer to consistently meet or even exceed KPIs, because it depends on what's the company you're in, right? In a balanced and complete way. And regarding balanced and complete, I can do a whole new training just on this itself. Okay, but I will leave it here for now. Without breaking down or burning out. It's the consistency. This is a sport. Okay, I want to see your stamina. I don't want you to go 100% for 6 days. You study my stuff or you study your coach's stuff and then you burn out. Or I don't want you to go into a dream team and then you push yourself for 2 weeks and then you're like, I can't do this anymore. Okay. At the root of sales fitness are 3 things. You have to understand What are your emotional needs? Does doing what you know, does doing what you do, or is the relationship between you and what you do, does it give you more energy? After you attend this training, do you feel more energy or do you feel drained? I can tell you, after I created these slides, whoa, man, I felt super satisfied with my slides. And after, as I'm doing this training, I don't know if you can tell, I feel super satisfied and energized by my own training. So do I get drained? Do I look like I'm drained? Do I look like I'm burnt out? Because there is that emotional connection between my craft and I, whether it's teaching, whether it's closing, there's an inner fire inside. Making sense so far? So do you have that connection? Or do you feel like, oh man, I have to. Okay, that's not the right place to be. Number two, understanding your limiting beliefs. If I were to take a trip deep into your paradigm, and I want to look at your beliefs about money, about how comfortable you are with money. Just when I mention this word, money, wealth, success, how do you feel? Do you feel your heart sinking because you don't deserve it? Or do you feel excited because you know you are there? These are your subconscious relationship with money. These are the things that your sales script cannot touch. Okay. Number three is to understand your zone of genius. How well do you know your strength? How well do you know your weaknesses? And are you positioning yourself in the market to align yourself with these three things? Because the closest that break down, that feel tired all the time, that avoid, that sabotage, somewhere in there, one or more of these things are not aligned. And I can feel that some of you are already getting the picture of what I'm saying. If you're following, type a 1. Okay, give me a number 1 in the chat so I know that it makes sense. When Elaine first came to me, she was breaking down, basically. Was crying, frustrated, but she had invested so much of her time, money, effort, energy. At the time, I believe her family wasn't aware, and all her investments were going nowhere. So what you're saying now is the more energized her, the more happy her, the more balanced her. And I told her to update this sheet, but she hasn't sent it to me yet. So what I have is the old one. I believe she has crossed 17K in commissions collected. So everyone snaps for Elaine. You might think it's easy, but let me tell you, she's a mother of 2. Her family doesn't know or understand or support what she does. She's all on her own. There's no one she can go to for coaching. There's no one she can go to for support. There's no one she can go to for emotional strength. Like none of it, just all on her own. Okay, so the only thing that she can build for herself is this ability to dig deep, and make the connection inside, so that when there are times where there are certain things she don't understand, when there are times where she feels demoralized, when there are times where she's frustrated and why can't I get this right? Okay, she doesn't break down. I mean, she does, but she's resilient. She can bounce back because the connection between her and her why, her and her goals, allows her to stand up again and again and again. Just like Andrew at the start of the training today, they're able to stand up again and again and again. So can you imagine if I were to run ads today and I were to show these numbers, and then people will be like, oh, wow, it's so easy to make money on the internet. Let's go do it. Okay, wait till you walk a mile in her shoes and then you'll know the kind of obstacles she had to overcome. And one of the main things that I taught her and Cole Lee and Andrew in order to be self-sufficient, okay, I covered this a lot in my previous training, which is the ability to set calls. And the root of booking your own calls, the root of it, okay, is to understand your ICA. What is your ICA? It's your ideal client avatar. Every company has this. Every offer has this. Chances are when your coach or your influencer created their offer, they were coached to build their ICA. So if you have access to that piece of document, you know who they are, you know where they congregate, you know how is their buyer's journey like. You can take the initiative to go on the attack. If I give you 3 hours today, you will take the initiative, you will go on the attack because you know where they are, you know how to talk to them, okay, and you can get them to book a call. So whenever you can get calls, book. And if you are the setter and there's a closer that's doing the close, and you get paid your commissions as a setter. If you are the closer as well, then you set, and then you close, okay? That's essentially how Elaine and Coley arrive at these numbers, because actually at the start, they weren't given leads. They weren't given a lot of leads. Okay, they took the effort to say, instead of complaining that my influencer has no leads, instead of complaining that I'm not moving, the teams are inactive, they went on the attack. Very, very important. You are a salesperson, you sign up to be in sales, you should know. You should know that salespeople go on the attack all the time. Which salesperson sits back and lets the other members of the team go and sell? When you compare all the chart at the end of the week, at the end of the month, don't you want to see your name up there on the top 3 and top 5? So if I give you 3 hours today, you've got to know where to attack. Okay, and when they meet with you, okay, now the sales script you can buy from anywhere. There's only so many ways you can teach rapport, background, goals, pain, creating the gap, summarizing the call, get urgency. Okay, walk through the big picture process, talk about the offer, deal with the finances, overcome objections, and enroll and onboard them. There's only so many ways you can teach this. And I don't care which program you use to buy that. The root of the entire call, it's all here. You do a testimonial for me after this training. I will send you access to this slide. You print this out, laminate it, paste it on your wall. When you're on your sales call, you look at this and ask yourself, did I secure urgency? Did the prospect tell me, why must we do this today? Did I secure the process? Is my prospect 100% clear on how does my solution work? Did I secure exclusivity? Did my prospect tell me, why must I only get your solution and not your competitors? Did I secure trust and belief? Does my prospect believe that I'm the one to help him succeed? Does my prospect believe that he or she needs to take full ownership of his or her success? Do they believe that they must invest in order to succeed? A lot of times, all the objection, oh, what should I say if they say this? Oh, well, if they say this, then you say that. And then you go and say that, and then it doesn't work. And then you're like, why? I already said what my coach told me to say. But these principles need to be secure. And it's not you telling the prospect to secure it. It's your prospect has to sell you on why I must do this today. So digest these principles, then use whatever script that you have, okay, to achieve your goals. So essentially, it's the same thing again and again and again. What's the problem? What's the pain? What's the process? And then you talk about the investment. Okay, so I'll spare you the technical stuff, because once you can book calls and you can close calls, you arrive at a point of self-sufficiency. 1 day, 3 hours, 1 week, that's 15 hours. I don't believe you cannot get one sale. Even if you really want to do this part-time, you give me 3 hours a day to go and find your ICA, okay, and you go and talk to them. I don't believe in 2 weeks, you cannot get one sale. I don't believe in 1 month, you cannot get one sale. For the products that Coley and Elaine sell, they are selling high ticket items. So even if they just get 1 sale a month, they can already replace their 9 to 5. So it's whether you want to have the belief and the confidence to go on the attack. That's what it is. That's what the gurus don't want you to do. They want you to sit back and believe that you can just say these things. What's your current situation? Is it the value of Is it a problem of value or is it a problem of money? And boom, you get paid. Of course, they want you to believe that. Okay. So is it possible to shift your performance when you become someone who is capable of booking calls on your own? Is it possible to become someone who talks to your own prospects so that you don't touch your influencers' leads until you have proven yourself? And then you close your own leads, and you demonstrate your skills, your structure, your discipline. Then is it possible to achieve this kind of wins? Okay, you decide for yourself. So today we talk about mind, value, and performance. So today, what is the date? At the time of this training, or if you're watching the replay, it's 17 June. I want you to write down, and you don't have to do this now, but after this training, I want you to take out a piece of paper and write down your top 5 milestones. You have to write it down. If you don't write it down, okay, you're gonna do the things in red. Okay, the things in red, milestone number 1, complain about influencers. Okay, this is irrelevant. Let's delete this. Let's meet every week to motivate each other and discuss about theory. Okay, forget it. Harass influencers, DM them, ask them to hire me. Forget it. Wait in my job and pretend that it's okay. Okay, forget it. I've seen closers stuck for years just because they wait and wait and wait. Or let me try to land an opportunity first and then we see how. There's no see how. You're going to be kicked from the team if you can't hit your KPI. So these milestones, if you don't sit down and write it out, then there's nothing to achieve. Then you work hard for what? Next week, I check in, nothing is being built. But what if one of these is your unique closer brand? What if one of these is your ability to book calls? What if one of these is your confidence in all the principles of closing? What if one of these is your to secure your calendar so that when I look at your calendar, I see there are 1 hour, 2 hours for you to study, 1 hour, 2 hours for you to set, 1 hour, 2 hours for you to get calls. And I can see all this structure and process being established. Then you know what? You are pro. You are pro. And the newbies, the amateurs have a blank piece of plan because this is my plan. At the time when it was the toughest for me, when I had no idea how the resources were going to come, when I had no idea what to do, I sat down and said, you know what? This is going to be my milestone. And I really had no idea what to write, but I just wrote down something because you know why? The milestones will evolve. Your plans will change. You just need to pluck out your courage to write something down. And I guarantee you, the more you write and the more you revisit your strategy, the more confident you will be because you're telling your subconscious that we can make things happen. We can plan. Okay. So when you can complete all 4 pillars, you control your identity. You're sure of who you are. You're sure that you can get calls booked. You're sure that you can close your own calls. You're sure of your brand and your reputation as a closer. You know what are you? You are the strategic closer. Your skill sets are complete. I throw you in any industry. I throw you in any company. Sure, at the start, you might just be at the bottom. You might just be a cold calling guy. You might just be a VA. You could be just a setter. You're at the lowest. But you have no fear because you know that with this preparation, the other closers will burn out. The other closers don't know the principles. Eventually, they will hit a roadblock and give up and quit. But even though your title says setter or VA or whatever, your identity, you know that you're here to climb the whole damn thing and take over the whole show. Okay, that's the whole concept behind strategic closing. Okay, so this is Jen and this is Carla who have bought some of my courses and they have some amazing, nice things to say, which I'm going to spare you the plug. But how many of you want a tour to see what's inside my program? I know David's on the call, you've already bought it. Okay, start with the IAS and then let's do a one-to-one call. I know Carla Edmund has already bought it. I want to see your IAS work and then we'll do a call. So for those of you watching live or replay, if you want to do a tour, type a hashtag tour in the chat. Okay, so now I'm going to briefly walk you through what's inside strategic setting, because in this training, I can't walk you through all the what and the how. Okay, so here we cover the foundations of setting, all the possible touch points that you can use to trigger conversations, all the systems required for you to build a machine and the underlying psychology and principles. Okay, some clear-cut examples. Okay, so it's all you need to build yourself into someone that can go to any company and say, oh, you guys don't have leads? Why? Let me show you how it's done. You guys have leads, but it's not enough. Let me come in and optimize your conversations, your calls growth. Okay, because you are the one that doesn't complain that, oh, you have no leads. As long as you can find a company with a good proven offer, you can come in and optimize all these different things. You won't be complaining. Which one do you want to be? You want to optimize or you want to complain? Okay, and this is strategic closing, okay, which I break down the entire syntax and the structure, okay, of what's happening in a sales call. Okay, step-by-step examples, demonstrations. Okay, and I'm here. You have questions, okay, you can ask me and I can clarify things for you. So you won't be buying a course that stuck inside your download folder and then you don't know what to do. Okay, that's not what I want. And this is the core program, six-figure closer. Okay, so for $497, you get access to everything. Okay, and this pretty much covers everything that I teach my students. It's just that there's no coaching, but it's a static course. I would say the most important thing here is here, guerrilla warfare and the art of creating value bombs. And this is a huge, huge thing that separates you when you apply to your dream opportunity and how to beat all the other passive generic closers. Okay, and get in and demonstrate your value, show your value, okay, and land your dream opportunity. So I'll leave it to you to calculate what the price of this bundle is, because if you can get one sale in a month, you already earn back your investment. If you're telling me that you want to follow my work and you cannot get one sale in a month, then maybe this game isn't for you. And then everything else that you earn after this investment is yours to keep. Okay, so what's the value in here? How much can I actually charge for this? I'll leave it for you to calculate. Okay, because once you become the strategic closer, what you earn is what I call spiritual income. It's coming from the inside. It's coming from your courage. It's coming from your competence, coming from the trust in yourself. Okay, so for those of you that are like, I don't want your course, I want you to coach me personally, okay, type a hashtag coach in the chat. Okay, and then we'll have a conversation. For those of you that are watching the replay and you want to speak with me personally, go to seansena.link and book a time, fill up the form, and then we can proceed. So this was the strategic closer training. We have time for a little bit of Q&A. So I'm going to open the floor to anyone who has questions. If you're like, what's inside here, or what do you mean by this? Now is the time to ask. If the rest of you have already have a one-to-one coaching time with me, please give the opportunity to someone else who, I know I'll be speaking with you, Edmund. I'll be speaking with you, David. I'll be speaking with you, Carla. And the rest of you are already my students. So does anyone have anything that you'd like to clarify, or you have a win to share? Please sound up right now. Carla asks, what is your process for effective studying? Brilliant question. So Carla is a very self-driven woman. She bought my course. And by the way, don't buy if you're not going to study. Okay, when you buy a course, the whole point is for you to block time out. Okay, the most important thing, you got to block time out to study. Okay, and I'm very strict with this. Okay, you need minimum 30 minutes to 60 minutes a day. Okay, and don't be ambitious. Don't say I want to put in 6 hours a day, because you're going to burn out. I would much rather you go slow and you go by a bit, but you go for 6 months. Okay, first you have to definitely understand the why. You got to know what is the how and what is the what. When I teach, I show the what. When you learn, okay, you follow the how. But your success as a closer comes from digesting the why. Always, always, always this. If you have someone that you can go to say, I seem to have done this thing correctly, but then sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work and I'm stuck. Can you explain to me why? And your coach explain why to you. You cannot just 1 year in and then 1 year out. You have to internalize the why so that when all the different scenarios appear, you can solve it on your own. You can't be going to your coach to say, oh, scenario B happened, what should I do? Scenario C happened, what should I do? Scenario D happened, what should I do? Then you're always reliant on your coach. So the reason why you study is not to memorize the what. This is not sitting for exam in the school, you know. This is you becoming a sales leader. Eventually, you're going to get so good that you're going to lead other salespeople. So do you have to internalize the why? Okay. Jabal asks, I have a question. You mentioned about, I have to do this. Yes, this is still inside of me. I do not have the full potential of I'm all in. Okay, because this is so Jabal, this one, I'm going to pull out my old slide on the understanding of sales fitness. When you have this idea that, oh, I need to earn money, and then there's this pressure on you, right? A lot of salespeople are motivated like that. And that's why they burn out, and that's why they quit. The reason why, after 4 years, I'm still happily doing this full time. I'm not a guru, I'm still closing. And the reason why I have the fitness to do this for 4 years consistently full time, I never had a job. I never had a job. This is all I do. If you look at my resume, there's nothing. All I do is closing. If today I went to get a real job, no one would probably hire me because I never had a real job. All I do is closing. And how can I do this so consistently and passionately for so long? It's because I don't feel like I have to. Okay, first, you got to understand why. Why did you come into sales? Just for the money? Then you cannot win. What is your definition of closing? Is it just a tool to get money? What is your relationship with closing? Because if it's just a tool, just think about it this way. Your best friend. How do you treat your best friend? How does your best friend treat you? How would you feel if your best friend say, Jabal, you're just a tool for me to make money? Then will you help your friend? Will there be a connection? How would you feel if your best friend said that to you? You are just a tool for me to make money. Well, if you treat closing like that, then how will closing treat you? I know it sounds strange to say, but you get the idea. Because I don't see closing as that way. I've never went to closing and say, you are just a tool for me to make money. I have a lot of respect. I have a lot of, I hold closing in high esteem because closing turned my life around. Closing trained me to think. Closing gave me everything that I have today. So I have a lot of respect for closing. So if closing were a person, how do you think I treat closing? Every day I talk to closing. Every day I try to help closing. Every day I make that connection with closing. It's just like my best friend. I know, very strange to say, but you get the idea. So how many of you really have that kind of connection and respect? If closing was a friend, would he or she want to be your friend? That's my question to you. Okay, so if you don't have that connection, then you'll always be tired. It's like that friend keep asking you out and you don't want to meet him because you know he's just going to ask you for money. Does it make sense now? As absurd as my explanation is. Okay, I have time for one final question. Let's see if we have a good one. Exactly, Carla, like a part of you. It always must become a part of you. Let me scroll through the comments. No further questions. For those of you watching the replay, just send it my way or type in the comments below. Okay, or you can just message me directly. I hope that after today, you are clear on why I created this training today. I hope you understand the significance of having a clear strategy. Always look at your strategy so that your days and your time make sense. Okay, at the end of the day, I can help you, I can coach you, but you cannot depend on me. You cannot depend on a course. You cannot depend on a guru. That's what I want you to do. Okay, at the end of the day, the only person you can depend on is yourself, because when you join a team, I'm not there beside you. When you join a team, it's between you and your influencer. And if it's just one day that you can't perform, you're already running the risk of being replaced. If it's 2 days that you don't perform, okay, you're already running the risk of being replaced. This is not a job, it is a business. You have to be absolutely good at what you do. The rest of it is all techniques. The rest of it is all external. Najim asks, can I get a recording of this session? Because I was on a closing call, sure. So Andrew or Andrea, can you just send Najim the replay after this? And I hope that you finish your milestone planning by today. It doesn't have to be perfect, okay, but you need to start. And as uncomfortable as it is, I want you to start, okay, and take a screenshot. Okay, if you want the entire tribe to hold you accountable, go ahead and post it in our Facebook group. I'm sure that will light a fire under your ass. Or if you want to keep it private, at least send it to me personally so I know where you are, I know how you think, and I know how to support you. That's it for me today. I hope you enjoyed today's training. I hope this was worth your time, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Have a great day, guys.